up until computers superseded normal film effects techniques, all animation effects, all special effects in films from the 20s on up through the 70s, right into the beginning of the 80s, was done using various animation techniques and using a device called a matte, M-A-T-T-E. And a matte is simply a mask with a window in it. And it can be any shaped window. It can be several different windows. For instance, with this Back to the Future title, this is actually a matte for the lettering. So the lettering can be seen, can be shot through, and a matte outlines the lettering. And then a garbage matte would be another piece of black that would cover the whole of what the camera can see. So that basically you just have black with Back to the Future on it. And that's basically what a matte is. Now there are matte paintings which are different in that a matte painting is a background painting to live action that the live action is dropped into. For instance, the famous sword fight scene or lightsaber scene between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, where they're standing on that little narrow platform out over this abyss, this big circular tube that disappears into nothingness below them. And they're shot on that little bit of stage that was against a green screen, and then a matte painter, a matte artist, painted that background. And that painting was probably only 3 feet wide by 6 feet long, if that size. I don't know who did it, but and so that's photographed separately, and then they're photographed separately, and they're composited together. And so a lot of scenes that you'll see are done with matte paintings to fill out a very complicated background, maybe a village, a medieval village, or a desert scene, or a cityscape. It could be pretty much anything that the live action will be in front of. But matte paintings and mattes were a very important part of special effects that were basically developed back in the 20s and the 30s. And the earliest mattes were actually huge big sheets of glass that the camera would shoot through, and on the glass would be painted maybe a foreground and a background, and maybe with a window in it that would blend into what was on stage, the actors, and maybe they had a background that would blend into this painting, and it would complete the scene. And if you look carefully on a lot of films, you can tell where a matte painting, where the live action shot stops and a matte painting begins. You have to have a sharp eye, but you can do it. But, very clever people could make it look seamless. So those were the earliest mattes. And then when we got into more advanced film techniques in the 30s, then mattes like this would be used, and they could be, like I say, they could be any shape. So that's basically it. A matte is a mask with a or several windows in it to modify and keep artwork in a contained space that then they can add a background afterwards.